Shalom. So today I'm going to be talking about the 10 commandments of the Most High, starting with the first commandment. So the first commandment is, thou shalt have no other gods beside the Most High. And you know, one of my favorite verses, when the Most High freshly woke me up, one of my favorite verses, a verse that gets no clearer than this verse, is Isaiah 43, verse 11. Even I am Yah, and beside me there is no Savior. The Most High is the only Savior. I actually want to go to Isaiah 43:11 because I want to keep going, because these verses are pretty clear. This is the art scroll, Isaiah 43:11. I am Yah, and there is no deliverer aside from me. Verse 12, I have foretold and brought salvation and informed you. There was no strange God in your midst. You are my witnesses, the word of Yah, and I am God. Verse 13, even before there was a day, I was he, and there is none who can save from my hand. When I act, who can reverse it? That's pretty cut and dry, right? The Most High is the Most High is the only Savior, right? This is the first commandment. Thou shalt have no other gods before the Most High. So that's that. Commandment number 2, thou shalt not make unto thee any graven images or any likeness of anything that is in the heavens above, or in the earth beneath, or in the waters beneath the earth. Thou shalt not prostrate, nor bow down to them, nor worship them. For the Most High, our God, is a jealous God, who pays the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation, to those who hate him, but shows kindness to the 1,000th generation, to those who love him and keep his commandments. Oof. Right? Yikes. He's paying the iniquities of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation, to those who hate him, but showing kindness to the 1,000th generation, to those who love him and keep his commandments. So what is 4 generations, right? Let's take a look. Let's start with you as an example. So 4 generations, you are the 4th. If we go backwards, so you are the 4th, your dad, your grandpa, your great-grandpa. So now let's go forward 4 generations. So you are 4, your son, your grandson, your great-grandson. Woof. That is a lot. So we know then that it doesn't just stop with us, right? There are consequences for our actions. We see that in this commandment. But he's showing kindness to the 1,000th generation, to those who love him and keep his commandments. So I can't even count 1,000. I was just doing this for the 3rd and the 4th. I can't even count 1,000 generations. Like, how many years would that be? That's a lot, right? Which would you rather have? The Most High showing kindness to your 1,000th generation, or him paying the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the 3rd and 4th generation, to those who hate him, right? So that is the second commandment. Commandment number 3, thou shalt not take the name of the Most High in vain, for the Most High does not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain. That's the only commandment where we see that the Most High does not absolve anyone who takes his name in vain. It is that serious, right? The 4th commandment, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. For in 6 days you shall work and do all your labor, but the 7th day is Sabbath to the Most High your God. On it you shall do no work. You, your son, your daughter, your maidservant, your animal, or the convert within your gate. For 6 days, the Most High created the heavens and earth, and the sea, and all that is in them. And he rested on the 7th day. Therefore, the Most High blessed the 7th day and sanctified it. So let's get some more context. Let's get some more information for the Sabbath day. So let's go to Exodus. Let's go to Exodus 31. And let's go to verse 12. So Okay, so Exodus 31, verse 12. Exodus 31, verse 12. Yah said to Moses, saying, 13, now you speak to the children of Israel, saying, however, you must observe my Sabbaths, for it is a sign between me and you for your generations, to know that I am Yah, who makes you holy. So this is the only commandment that we're seeing, that he's saying that it is a sign between him and us for your generations. So we just talked about generations. We just talked about generations when it came to the second commandment, that he is the third and fourth generation to those who hate him, and the 1,000th generation to those who love him. So we got that. This says, it is a sign between me and you for your generations. This does not say third and fourth. This does not say 10th. This does not say 1,000. This says for your generations. And the JPS says, I believe it says throughout your generations. So for your generations, to know that I am Yah, who makes you holy. Verse 14, you shall observe the Sabbath, for it is holy to you. Its desecrators shall be put to death. For whoever does work on it, that soul shall be cut off from among its people. So now we're seeing there is a death penalty for desecrating the Sabbath day. Right? So verse 15, for 6 days work may be done, and the 7th day is a day of complete rest. It is sacred to Yah. Whoever does work on the Sabbath day shall be put to death. That is the second time we're seeing that there's a death penalty for desecrating the Sabbath day. Verse 16, the children of Israel shall observe the Sabbath to make the Sabbath an eternal covenant for their generations. Eternal. Eternal is forever. It is a forever covenant. Verse 17, between me and the children of Israel, it is a sign forever that in a 6-day period, Yah made heaven and earth, and on the 7th day he rested and was refreshed. So now we're seeing forever, we're seeing eternal, we're seeing the death penalty twice, we're seeing generations. So in verse 18, when he finished speaking to him, when the Most High finished speaking to Moses on Mount Sinai, he gave Moses the 2 tablets of testimony, stone tablets, inscribed by the finger of the Most High. All 10 of these commandments are inscribed by the finger of the Most High in 2 stone. So let me ask you, does this sound like something that you can decide to keep maybe next year? Does this sound like something that you can decide to keep once you quit your job and you open up your own business, you start your own business, then you can start keeping the Sabbath day? Does this sound like something that you can start doing once you retire and you got some free time, now you can keep the Sabbath day? Does this sound like something that you need to have started yesterday? Okay, so that's the 4th commandment. And I understand that people have to work. A lot of us have to work on the Sabbath day. A lot of these daggone jobs schedule you for working on the Sabbath day. And they do that for a reason. Haven't y'all noticed? Saturday is the busiest time. That's where everything is open early, open late. Like they are purposefully trying to hold us back from keeping the Sabbath day. right? So let's say you have to work. I too was in that position, right? I too was in that position where I had to work. But all praises to the Most High, I put in a religious accommodation request at my job. That is protected under Title VII. Title VII is a law that protects us here in captivity. You can request a religious accommodation at your job, and they gotta honor it for sincerely held religious beliefs. So that's just something that you're gonna have to do. So that's what I did at my job. When the Most High first woke me up, I used to be off already on the Sabbath day. So there was nothing I had to do. I just kept the Sabbath day. I stopped buying, selling, working, cooking, all those things. I just stopped doing that, but I already didn't have to work. So later on, my schedule changed and I was scheduled to work on Saturday. That's when I put in the religious accommodation request. My job nearly stalled for 2 months. And all praises to the Most High, it was honored. So for 2 months, I had to call out every single Sabbath day, every single one. If you need some help, if you need help on what to say to your job, or help if your job gives you some pushback, I feel like I'm a pretty good resource because I've been through it. I went through it not that long ago too. So I got you, and I'm happy to help if I can. But this is something that is protected. We are protected to keep the Sabbath day here in captivity. I would rather obey the Most High than to obey man. So that's just something that I had to do. And like I said, all praises to the Most High, it was approved. So that's the 4th commandment. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. Commandment number 5, honor your father and your mother so that your days will be lengthened upon the land that the Most High, your God, gives you. So a real life example of that is we see in the news and stuff, people who are doing horrible things to their parents. You got to honor your father and your mother so that your days will be lengthened upon the land that the Most High, your God, gives you. I don't care what relationship you have with your parents. All of us have things going on. You honor your parents. That is a command. Okay? So commandment number 6, you shall not kill. Pretty straightforward. Commandment number 7, thou shalt not commit adultery. So if you are a married woman, you cannot sleep with anyone that is not your husband. If you are a man, whether you are married, whether you are single, if you are just a man, you cannot sleep with a married woman. That is committing adultery. Okay? Commandment number 8, thou shalt not steal. Commandment number 9, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. And so an example of that is if you don't have proof that somebody has done something, then you can't accuse them of something that you have no proof of. You can't lie on somebody. Make sure you have your facts straight before you talk about people, because if you've told a lie about somebody, then that is bearing false witness. Commandment number 10, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thy neighbor's wife, thy neighbor's male or female servant, thy neighbor's ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to thy neighbor. So you cannot want another man's wife. We just kind of talked about that because you're getting into dangerous territory. Now you're violating the 10th commandment not to covet your neighbor's wife. Now you're violating the 7th commandment not to commit adultery. So, excuse me, that's the 10th commandment, not to covet thy neighbor. They're not to covet anything that belongs to thy neighbor. So those are the 10 commandments. And we find the 10 commandments in Exodus 20. We find it again in Deuteronomy. You might ask, well, are we commanded or are we required to keep the commandments here in captivity, because we are in captivity right now. We are in a land that does not belong to us, right? We are in a land amongst our enemies, amongst the nations. So we are in captivity right now. Are we required to keep the commandments? Are they inactive? Are they put on hold until we get to the land? And so let's get some more information about that. So let's go to Deuteronomy chapter 30. So if we go to Deuteronomy chapter 30, and let's start at verse 1. It will be that when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse that I have presented before you. And so here's some context. So if you haven't read the book of Deuteronomy yet, which is in the Tanakh, it's in the Old Testament. So if you haven't read the book of Deuteronomy yet, I would encourage you to read Deuteronomy 28. That is the curses of disobedience and the blessings of obedience. I would recommend reading that. If you are on the fence, if you're still reading that book full of red words, I would recommend reading Deuteronomy 28, start at the curses. If those curses apply to you, you are indeed an Israelite, and you are required to keep the Most High's commandments. The Most High's commandments are for us. Okay? So let's start. Okay, so it will be that when all these things come upon you, the blessing and the curse that I have presented before you, then you will take it to your heart among all the nations where the Most High, where Yah your God has dispersed you. Verse 2, and you will return unto Yah your God and listen to his voice according to everything that I command you today. You and your children with all your heart and all your soul. Verse 3, then Yah, your God, will bring back your captivity and have mercy upon you, and he will gather you in from all the peoples to which Yah, your God, has scattered you. So that right there tells you that we are absolutely required to keep the 10 commandments in captivity. But you might say, but I have to work on the Sabbath day. But I can't keep the 5th commandment because I don't like my mom. Then but. Then let's keep reading Deuteronomy, verse 11. For this commandment that I command you today, it is not hidden from you, and it is not distant. 12, it is not in heaven for you to say, who can ascend to the heaven for us and take it for us, so that we can listen to it and perform it. Verse 13, nor is it across the sea for you to say, who can cross to the other side of the sea for us and take it for us, so that we can listen to it and perform it. 14, rather, the matter is very near to you, in your mouth and in your heart to perform it. It is in our mouth, it is in our heart to perform it. Okay? So those are the 10 commandments. Again, these are 10 commandments that the Most High inscribed in stone, in 2 stone tablets with his finger. These do not change. We are forever expected to keep the commandments. Okay? All praises to the Most High.